Welcome to Kids Recall. In today's video, we'll be going through the 2017 movie, The Emoji. It's time to recall. Let's get started. Turn on subtitles and spoilers ahead. The movie starts and we are taken to Emoji World. We are introduced to Jean, who is an emoji that lives in Textopolis, the world of all the emojis. We can also look at it as a digital city inside the phone of his user, a teenager named Alex. He's the son of two meh emojis named Mel and Mary, and can make multiple expressions despite his parents' upbringing. His parents are hesitant about him going to work, but Jean insists so that he can feel useful. We go on to see the huge emoji society where we see different emojis running around doing their job. All these emojis have, of course, different expressions that are stored in their chambers. They do not appear unless they are used by a user. We go on to see all these emojis making fun of Jean. They make fun of him because he is, of course, not able to do his job. Whenever he's about to be picked up by a user to use it, he starts having a different expression on his face and does not have any control over this whatsoever. We see that all the emojis have been assigned to a particular expression. For example, a crying emoji is to always cry no matter how happy that emoji is inside. On the other hand, a laughing emoji has to laugh all the time, no matter what. The scene then changes to the real world, where we see two teenage boys who are using their phones as they make their way to the classroom. That day, one of the boys named Alex, upon receiving a text from his love interest, Addie McAllister, decides that he's going to reply to her with an emoji. He decides to use Jean as his emoji. The scene right away changes to the emoji world, and where we see all the emojis at work, we see the expression emojis roaming around the whole city. The situation at times becomes really funny when they are seen hanging out together. Something really good happens for the crying emoji, but he's still seen crying because he's of course supposed to have that expression all the time. On the other hand, the laughing emoji is then shown having broken his legs, and when he is taken to an ambulance on a stretcher, he's still shown laughing despite having a broken leg. We then see an emoji whose job is to remain serious all the time. One day, that emoji goes on to see a group of very cute donuts. He keeps looking at the donuts, and it prompts him to change his expression. He tries to control himself, but he's unable to do so. This is the time when he loses all control. He is then shown playing with all the other emojis, copying their expressions as he joins them. This is the emoji that is named Jean. Jean is shown changing his expressions all the time, and this does not sit well with his parents. There are also sad-faced emojis, and they now are extremely worried about their son, who's not able to control his expressions, and that makes him ineligible to do his job. They go on to tell him that their family has a good reputation in the emoji world. But Jean has now destroyed that reputation, and they really seem to be ashamed of him. His parents tell him that he's good for nothing, and he should not go out at all. The scene changes back to the real world, where Alex, who has chosen Jean as his emoji, finally clicks on it. When Jean realizes that he's been chosen, he becomes excited, telling his parents that he's been chosen. And they are wrong. But of course, amidst all this, he doesn't control his expressions at all. It creates many glitches in Textopolis, and things start breaking there. When the boss realizes that it's Jean who's causing the glitch, the boss comes to him and tells him that since there's a glitch in his system, they cannot send him, adding that they are going to have to delete him. Jean panics and starts running out of there. The boss then tells the security team to follow him, and that is when we see the high five emoji, who is now very old, and he's a little injured too. He's old because in the past years, people used to use him a lot. However, the times have changed, and ever since the new emojis came into being, the use of the high five emoji lessened, and now people have almost stopped using it. He comes across Jean, and Jean goes on to tell him his whole story. The high five emoji tells him that he fully understands how Jean must be feeling because he knows how it feels to be rejected. High five emoji tells him to be patient and have a calm head. Jean wants to get out of there as soon as possible and prove to everyone that he's worthy enough. So he goes on to ask the old emoji what he should do. The high five emoji then tells him that there is a female hacker who can help him get back into the list of the top trending emojis. Jean and the old emoji then make their way to the hacker, but the guards get there and they have to run away. While they're on the run, they end up getting stuck into the Candy Crush. High five emoji manages to get out of there because he's smart and experienced, but Jean panics and gets stuck. The female hacker and the high five emoji then go on to help Jean out of there. While they are out of there, they come across a dancing game. Jailbreak, the hacker girl, reveals that Jean can be fixed in the cloud. And the group goes off into the Just Dance app. The three get into that game and have a lot of fun. Jean also joins in and dances too with the other two, and he seems to be having the best time of his life, where he is worried about nothing. When they are dancing on the stage, the female hacker girl ends up losing her hat. And when Jean looks at her without the hat, he goes on to realize that this is actually the queen emoji. She's also outdated, and so she too is not amongst the trending list anymore. He is then told that she's the old queen and her old methods are not appreciated by the new community, so she's gone into hiding now. The hacker girl, however, is really upset by the fact that her cover has just been blown, and she tells them that she does not feel like hanging out anymore and gets out of there. When it's only two of them, the robot security guards show up again. The robot then starts shooting at them, and that leads the dancing app to malfunction. We see that in the human world, the student who has installed this dancing app has songs getting played on his phone, and he's not even touched the phone. Alex, the student, gets really annoyed by this, and right away goes on to uninstall the app. The moment he does that, the situation in the emoji world turns chaotic, as everyone in the dance app starts running around and things start breaking. Jean and Jailbreak escape the app just in time, but High Five is taken along with the app and ends up in the trash. On the other hand, Jean's parents are at their place. They feel really bad for what they said to their son. Jean's mother is really sad that he left and that they've not been able to find him now. His mother wonders where her son must be and starts looking for him. And as the two go searching for Jean, they end up having a very lethargic argument. They look around for Jean in different apps and end up on Instagram. The two start talking and realize that they should not be fighting because it is just going to make things worse. They then wake up in the Instagram app, and this is when Mel reveals that he too is a malfunction, explaining Jean's behavior. Mel goes on to tell his wife that when he first started working, he was also unable to control his expressions. There was a time when he too thought that he might not be able to do his job. But he had put a lot of hard work, and with the passage of time, he mastered the emotion that had been assigned to him. On the other hand, we go on to see Jean and the queen emoji, who have gotten to the trash can for the high five emoji. They keep looking for him for a long time, and they eventually find him. The three of them are really happy to be reunited. Jean and the queen emoji throw a rope around the high five emoji, which grabs onto it and climbs out of the trash can. On the other hand, we go on to see the boss of the emojis manufacturing a very dangerous robot. She reveals that she has designed this robot to catch these three. The robot goes on to chase the three, but they barely manage to get away, as they end up in the safe zone where the robot is not allowed to enter. He tries, but is unable to break the wall of the safe zone. They go on to decide that they're going to make it to the cloud, because this is where they can help Jean. They, however, have a firewall in front of them, and the three decide that they're going to go past this wall at any cost. They, however, need a password to get this firewall out of the way, and the password is for that student's phone. They go on to try random passwords, but it keeps turning out to be incorrect. Jean then gets an awesome idea. He says that if he was a human, he would have made his password the name of his girlfriend. High Five agrees with him and goes on to remember that the guy has written an email to his girlfriend. They go on to read the email and find out that the name of the girl is Addie. And when they put in Addie, this time they're thrilled as the password turns out to be right. The firewall now disappears and they're able to make their way to the cloud. When they are on their way, the hacker girl goes on to ask Gene if he really wants to get back to being a trending emoji and get to work. He says now he's a little confused. He's been having a hard time making the decision. Gene then seeks advice from much experienced High Five, who goes on to tell him that he cannot really give him an answer. The hacker girl says that they should just do things according to the plan. They come to the cloud to work on his expression and his trending, so they must work on that now. Just as they're about to get started, the dangerous robot gets there. This time he ends up getting his hands on Gene and takes him away. High Five follows him and tries to save Gene, but the robot is too powerful for them. High Five knows that they're going to finish off Gene. He tells the hacker girl that they're going to have to save Gene at any cost. Just after 3 minutes, Gene is to be deleted forever, and once he's deleted, his existence in the emoji world will be over, and he's not going to show up anywhere. The hacker girl decides to help High Five save Gene. She then goes on to take off her costume and gets in her real shape, the princess emoji she really is. She then goes on to summon the Twitter bird and get on it to get to the place where Gene is about to be deleted. Their boss is then seen telling the other emojis that they are to destroy Gene now, and just like that, she goes on to order the robot to destroy Gene. This is when Mel and his wife show up and go on to tell the boss not to harm their son. When she tells them that their son is useless and can't fit into the emoji world, Mel then reveals to her that he used to be like Gene when he was young and just starting off. He says that he was able to work on his expressions and now he's a good emoji. He tells the boss that Gene will also work on his expression and will get back to the job too. But the boss doesn't listen to Mel. The boss tells the robot to get it over with. And this is when the princess emoji and High Five emoji appear. The hacker girl right away goes on to hack the system and jams the robot, that is to destroy Gene. When the boss comes forward to confront Hacker Girl, the giant robot falls on her and gets crushed under it. Alex, the student, on the other hand, is having trouble with his phone. It keeps hanging up, so he goes to a repair shop and tells the guy to take a look at his phone. The guy tells him that he can repair it, but Alex will lose all his data. We see that in the emoji world, all the emojis are watching Alex. The student goes on to say that he doesn't care about the data. He just wants his phone to work. And he hopes that a factory reset performed by technical support would restore his phone's functionality, which would entail total destruction of Gene's world, should such an operation complete. The operation gets started and the situation in the emoji world turns chaotic. They run here and there and things start breaking. The emojis start getting hurt and there's a wave of panic in Textopolis. Gene looks around and realizes that all of this is happening because of him. He decides that he's going to do something about it. Out of desperation, Gene prepares to have himself texted to Addie, making numerous faces to express himself. Realizing that Addie received a text from him, he goes on to check if she has replied to him. He unplugs the phone as he does that, and his data starts getting restored. The girl's really happy to have received a very unique emoji. Alex cancels the factory reset just as it nearly finishes, saving the emojis and finally getting to speak with Addie, who likes the emoji Alex sent. Gene accepts himself for who he is and is celebrated by all the emojis. In a mid-credit scene, the boss has been relegated to the loser lounge with the other unused and forgotten emojis for her crimes, wearing numerous braces due to her teeth being chipped by the bot, and playing and losing a game of Go Fish. And with that, the movie comes to an end. Subscribe for more videos like this. turn on the notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. And thank you for watching.